seems like I started the last two videos the same way, and we're gonna continue with that. Anyways, welcome back to the video, guys. Got off a little early today. I gotta go run some errands, pick up some medicine for my son, and I figure why not take the drift car out, enjoy this beautiful weather, put some miles on it, and we'll talk about something interesting. Anyways, also real quick, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. I recently just got like 30 new subscribers out of nowhere, and you guys are watching the videos, so I appreciate that. Let's hop in the car and go for a little drive. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm just running like a GoPro 10, no like mic or anything on it. But for today's video, we're just gonna do some street driving. I gotta run some errands anyways. Weather's pretty nice out, so I figure it's a good excuse to drive this thing. Not sure what we want to talk about today, but one topic I got on my mind, or the way I foresee this video going, is like everything you need to know before drifting your E90, E92 or E82. Just a couple of things that I wish I knew, or like kind of just laying out your options and see like what path you want to go on. So obviously this is a 335 single turbo E90, but what I've learned is you don't even need a 335. 328s, 128s are perfect. They might be lacking a little power, but what all that means is just less money on tires and a more seat time car. And that's the idea, and I'm gonna say that throughout the video, because that's one thing that I've learned in my short, 1 year of drifting, is how important seat time is. Because every time I've gone to the track and gotten seat time, I've gotten better. And I've only been to the track like 6 times, and 5 of those 6 times was by myself, and I've kind of just like self-taught myself what I thought felt right, and just messaging people on the internet. So basically I made a Facebook group to kind of just share knowledge with the community. It's just like a Drift E90, E82 chassis, just because they're fairly new. I think we just hit like 1,000 members, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, let's get straight into the talking points, I guess, on this little drive. So I'm gonna talk about like things you need and then like things you want. When I converted this car into a drift car, I thought I needed all these things. Luckily for me, like my car was already single turbo, and I had already like modded it out and stuff like that for stance. But when I initially decided to make it a drift car, I bought everything I could that I probably didn't need, right? So first things first, I started off with the CNC 71 kit, which is just steering angle. You're just adding steering angle, and at the time there wasn't many options. It was just basically that or WiseFab, and I didn't have the money for WiseFab. But the lesson learned here is buy once, cry once. So you want to buy stuff that's proven and that's good. You don't want to buy stuff that's like cheap and then you end up having to fix it in the long run. So while we're on that topic, I want to say there's 3 angle kits that I would recommend to people, just because 2 of them I have experience with, and the 3rd one I hear nothing but good reviews, and it recently just released to the public. So if it's a full dedicated drift car, then probably, yeah, you can consider like spending $1,000 or $1,500 to $2,000 on a good angle kit. So WiseFab has been out for a while. This is what this car has. Pro FD drivers use it. It's just been proven, and it's really good, but also really expensive at I think like $2,000 now. The next option is FDF. FDF makes plenty of angle kits for other cars, and I heard they're an awesome company and the customer support is amazing. But it wasn't until September 2022 they released a kit for our chassis. And although it's a little cheaper, the only thing different, or that the only hard part, I would say, if you're not mechanically inclined or scared to do, is you have to cut your knuckle in half, and the new FDF knuckle bolts to the stock knuckle. But definitely a good price point. I wouldn't even consider CNC 71 just because it's only like $200 less than FDF, and it's just not worth the trouble. And lastly, probably the most common and probably the most bang for your buck is the Unicorn Racing Kit. It's just a simple knuckle adapter. I had it on my car for like a month or two, and it's great for somebody that daily drives their car but like wants to drift, let's say once every 3 months. It just adds just a little angle, nothing crazy, no crazy camber, and I think it's perfect for like the street spec car. Now, do you need angle? Probably not. I mean, honestly, you probably can just go drift a couple drift days without angle. It helps, and that's why the Unicorn Racing Kit is probably like so good for like the most common person. I know not everybody out there is gonna have like the E90 or E92 or E82 like just for drifting. I know there's some of us that do and try to justify that, but let's be real, to like the most common person, it's not likely. Now, can you like daily drive on YSFAB or FDF? Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm driving it right now. I could drive this every day, but I have my truck, so I don't think it's not feasible. Now, I feel like must-have, obviously, is a welded diff. These cars come with open diffs, electronic diffs, all that kind of stuff. But basically, it uses like the wheel speed sensor and the ABS sensors to, like, if you're losing traction, it'll stop giving power to that one wheel. In my experience, I welded my diff, unplugged one of the sensors up front, and I never have to hit this button or hold it down. Probably because I got ABS lights on, but because they're unplugged. So it's always like, you know, locked, welded diff type style. Now, a lot of people might say like, oh, driving on a welded diff sucks or it's uncomfortable. Honestly, these cars are really well behaved with the welded diff. And it drives just fine. It's not until like you're in a parking lot making really tight turns you'll notice it, but other than that, I think it drives great. So that's a must-have. Now, I might be wrong on this next one, but I think bucket seats are definitely a must-have. The stock seats, even if you have the Sport 335 seats, you can like adjust the bolsters, but when you're drifting and the car is swinging and sliding, you don't want to be thrown around. You want to get like good seats that hold you in place. So, and they're fairly cheap. Like these NRG bucket seats are like 300 bucks. Definitely worth every dollar. Also consider seat brackets too, another $150, $100. Now you can probably get away with not having a hydro. I went all out, and this is where I kind of went all out and spent a lot of money where I probably didn't need to. I got the Seams Legit Garage dual caliper bracket with Willwood calipers and this hydro setup that I got. You could probably get away with running an inline handbrake, saving a lot of money, and then getting weld-on brackets for the secondary caliper, which actually uses a stock style caliper that you could probably get anywhere from a junkyard. Now, kind of going backwards a little bit, before you even consider drifting your car, your BMW, I highly recommend going through the entire cooling system and like just overall maintenance of the car. If your car is not running 100%, I would not drift it. Just because with drifting, you're beating that car till its max potential. Like, you know, more abuse than any street racing or anything like that. You're high RPMs, like you're just beating up the car. So make sure the car is like up to maintenance. And When I say that, I mean like, you know, like the common things, like with N54s, like injector, spark plugs, coil packs, stuff like that, valve cover gasket, oil filter housing gasket, just like the main things. Make sure you take care of all that stuff too. And while you're at it, it'd be a good idea to upgrade your cooling system. So my first 3 events, I didn't have an upgraded radiator, and then I finally got a CSF radiator. It was a little pricey, but I think that was one of the best mods ever. And if your car is like a early model like mine that didn't come with the oil cooler, I highly recommend retrofitting an oil cooler. Tons of videos and tons of information about that stuff online, but cooling is very important for drifting, obviously. Let's see, what's next? Suspension, BC coilovers, or whatever kind of coilovers, like Feel is a really good brand. There's some other good brands, but you definitely want some coilovers. And I probably couldn't tell the difference because I didn't drift before on stock bushings, but when I had the whole car apart, like I said, I did everything at once. I took the subframe out, did subframe bushings, I did solid bushings. I also did diff bushings. I highly recommend that, just because, just imagine all that stress on your diff when clutch kicking and everything like that. And then you can pick up really cheap diff braces on eBay. It pretty much just adds a secondary support for your diff. What else? If you got a healthy clutch, I say just run it until it goes out, and then when it goes out, obviously get an upgraded clutch that can withstand a lot of torque, a lot of abuse, a lot of horsepower, whatever it is your goals are. And lastly, I would save money where you can. Like, let's say the hydro, my hydro setup with the bracket and everything like that was probably around like $700, where I probably could have got a $30 weld-on bracket and did an inline setup, and then that would have been that much more money for tires or track fee or whatever to get more seat time that we talked about in the beginning. And then just kind of upgrade as you go when you progress as a driver. Luckily for me, I had the car set up right, and it was just mainly me fighting against my schedule to get to the track and tires. But now I feel like I'm in a comfortable spot where I feel like I'm learning every single time. And now that I put the WiseFab on, the car feels dialed. Really hope the audio is good, because that was a lot of talking. We just got here. About to pick up some medicine for my son, and then we'll continue it when I get back. Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just drove the car to go run some errands real quick, and it's such a beautiful day, so I figured I'd stop right here, right by the airport in the Amazon building by my house, and just kind of make a quick video. So the car looks freaking sick. I love it. I just want to lower the front just a little bit and eventually get some baller wheels, hot boy wheels, but I love the way it looks. Couple of things that I totally didn't know about drifting in general. This is just with any car, right? I pretty much was like, hey, I'm gonna build this drift car. I went on drifthq.com. I bought all the parts I thought I needed. I put everything on by myself. I went to the track by myself, and I went drifting. The first 30 minutes I stayed on track and hot lapped the entire 30 minutes, and I ran through my first set of tires. I didn't know what heat cycling was. I didn't know any of that, right? If you're a drifter and watching this, you're probably like, man, this guy's an idiot. But like, these are things that people don't really know. So if you're getting into drifting, heat cycling is a thing where you do a couple laps and then you get off track and then you let the tires cool down. You can't go out there and just like drive nonstop. You got to let the tires cool down. To help that, I got a 2-gallon like weed sprayer from Lowe's or Home Depot, and I put ice water in there, and then like after 2 or 3 laps I spray down the back tires. I let them cool down. You can even run, if you're bringing like 2 sets of tires, go do 2-3 laps on one, take them off, put the other ones on, and just cycle them back and forth, just so you're not burning through your tires so fast. That's something that I didn't even know about. You know, I didn't know that was a thing. I also didn't know that you gotta buy good tires, right? I thought, oh, I'll just go to the local tire shop and get all the scrap tires in the back. Like, no, I would argue that's a waste of time. For some people it works, some people it doesn't. For me, I just don't feel like mounting and balancing all those tires or like mounting all those tires and going through that effort, right? I'd rather have a good pair of tires like Kenda's or something like that I know will get me the most laps per dollar. Like Kenda's, I pay $120 at Walmart.com for one tire. I can get like an Ironman tire that's I've heard is really good, or like a cheaper tire like I forgot the name of the brand, but like a Namkang or any other cheaper tire, right? For like $20 cheaper per tire. But I'll probably get like 10 laps less. So like what's worth it to you? Like the effort of like mounting that tire for like, yeah, it's just, think about it, cost analysis and stuff like that. For me, time is money, and I don't got all the money and the time in the world. So I try to like make it most efficient as possible. So I think that's it for today's video. I covered all the topics I think I wanted to talk about. This is just kind of like a video just to get out there, and hopefully this knowledge is helpful for somebody that's considering drifting or is interested in getting into drifting. So I hope this helps. Check the Facebook group, use the search bar, be smart, and can't wait to see you guys drifting.